The night was a canvas of chaos. Sirens wailed in the distance, smoke curled from broken buildings, and the flickering neon of Gotham's skyline painted the streets in jagged light. High above, perched on a gargoyle's crumbling wing, Green Arrow waited. His bow was drawn, an arrow notched with silent precision. His target, the infamous Harley Quinn. She was a whirlwind of destruction below, laughing as she danced between overturned cars, her mallet swinging with reckless glee. The GCPD had cornered her, but she was toying with them, flipping over their barricades with acrobatic ease. Green Arrow exhaled slowly. He wasn't here to kill. He was here to capture. The trap was set. With a twang, the arrow released, slicing through the air, not toward Harley, but toward the lamppost beside her. The moment it struck, a net exploded outward, tangling around her mid-leap. She shrieked, more surprised than pained, as the wires coiled tight, yanking her off her feet. She hit the pavement with a grunt, her breath knocked loose. For a heartbeat, fear flashed in her wide blue eyes. She thrashed, but the more she struggled, the tighter the net constricted. Then she saw him, Green Arrow, landing gracefully a few feet away, his hood casting shadows over his sharp features. Harley's lips curled into a snarl. Ooh, the pretty Boy Scout's got himself a new playmate. Her voice was sugar-coated venom, but her pulse raced. She'd heard the stories, the way he fought, the way he never missed, and right now she was helpless. He stepped closer, his gaze unreadable. The police shouted behind him, demanding he hand her over. But Green Arrow didn't move. Instead, he crouched beside her, studying her with an intensity that made her breath hitch. "You're not taking me in?" Harley blinked, her bravado flickering. Green Arrow's voice was low, rough, not to them. Before she could react, he scooped her up, net and all, and fired a grappling arrow skyward. The line zipped taut, and they were airborne, Gotham shrinking beneath them. Harley's laughter returned, wild and unhinged, as the wind whipped through her hair. "Where ya taking me, handsome?" she teased, though her heart hammered against her ribs. He didn't answer, but the way his grip tightened around her, not cruel, not gentle, sent a thrill down her spine. This wasn't a capture. It was the beginning of something far more dangerous. The world blurred into streaks of neon and shadow as Green Arrow carried her through the night. Harley Quinn's laughter still ringing in his ears, sharp, bright, and laced with something like madness, or maybe defiance. He couldn't tell. The net held her tight, but her energy was electric, restless, like a storm trapped in glass. They landed on a rooftop, far from the chaos below. The air smelled of rain and distant fire. Harley rolled onto her side, still tangled, but her grin never faded. "Sue," she drawled, tilting her head. "This the part where you lecture me. Tie me up proper." Or, her voice dropped to a whisper, something funner. He ignored the taunt, kneeling beside her. His fingers worked quickly, not untying the net, but adjusting it, loosening just enough so she could breathe easier. Her eyes tracked his every move, curious now. "You're not like the others," she mused. "Batman would have dragged me straight to Arkham. Bats don't do detours." "I'm not Batman," he said simply. She snorted. "No kidding." A beat of silence. The city hummed around them, alive and indifferent. Then, "Why'd you catch me?" she asked, and for the first time there was no playfulness in her voice, just a question. Raw, real. He studied her, the smudged makeup, the wild strands of hair stuck to her cheek, the way her pulse jumped at her throat. She was dangerous, unpredictable, but not evil, not entirely. "Because I need your help," he admitted. Her eyebrows shot up. Then she burst out laughing, loud enough to startle a flock of pigeons into flight. "Oh, this is rich. Mr. Righteous needs little old me?" She wiggled her fingers at him. "What's the catch, pretty boy? Gotta kill someone for ya? Steal something shiny?" "Worse," he said. "I need you to break into Wayne Tech." Her laughter died. For a second, she just stared at him. Then her grin came back, slow and wicked. "Oh, Arrows has a dark side," she whistled. "Color me interested." He didn't smile. "Lex Luthor's smuggling something through their servers. Something bad. I can't get close. Not without setting off every alarm in the city. And I can. You're Harley Quinn, he said, like that explained everything. And maybe it did. She chewed her lip, thinking. Then, with a sudden, violent twist, she wrenched her arm free of the net and pointed a finger at his chest. If I do this, if you owe me, big time, no take-backsies. He didn't flinch. Name your price. Her eyes gleamed. A kiss. He went very still. Just one, she teased, leaning in as far as the net would allow. Come on, Greenie. Ain't that a steal for saving the world? The air between them crackled. Dangerous, tempting. He exhaled. After the job. She threw her head back and laughed, delighted. Deal. Somewhere below, a siren wailed. The night stretched on, endless and hungry. And just like that, the game changed. The safe house was a forgotten place, cracked windows, peeling wallpaper, the scent of dust and old gunpowder clinging to the air. Green Arrow had chosen it for its emptiness, its silence. But with Harley Quinn inside, the silence didn't stand a chance. She twirled a stolen lockpick between her fingers, humming some off-key tune as she paced. The net was gone, tossed in a corner like a discarded toy. She'd been free for all of 10 minutes, and already the room felt smaller, hotter, like the walls themselves were holding their breath. So, she chirped, spinning to face him. What's the real plan, Green Bean? 'Cause I know you ain't just busting into Wayne Tech for giggles. He didn't look up from the blueprint spread across the table. Lex is moving something called Project Eclipse. It's a weapon, one that could level cities. Her nose scrunched. Boring. Bad guys and their doomed toys. Yawn. But then she hopped onto the table, legs swinging, and leaned in. Why me, though? Got a thing for bad girls? His jaw tightened. You're the only one who's hacked Wayne's systems before. Huffed. That was one time. And I was bored. She flopped onto her back, arms sprawled. Also, maybe a little tipsy. He finally looked at her. Can you do it or not? She propped herself up on her elbows, her smile sharp. Oh, I can. Question is, should I? Her gaze flicked to his bow, then back to his face. What's stopping me from walking out that door right now? In a flash, an arrow was notched, aimed at her chest. She didn't flinch, just grinned wider. That's cute, she purred, but we both know you ain't gonna shoot. He didn't lower the bow. Try me. The air between them crackled, a challenge, a dare. Then, with a laugh, she rolled off the table and landed in a crouch. Fine, Mr. Broody. I'll play hero for a night. She snatched an apple from his pack and took a loud bite. But if we're doing this, we're doing it my way, which is chaotic, she winked. He exhaled, long and slow, like he already regretted this, but the arrow lowered. Outside, the rain began to fall, tapping against the glass like impatient fingers. The game was on. Rain lashed against Wayne Tech's towering facade, turning glass and steel into a shimmering maze of reflections. Inside, alarms blared, a shrill, panicked heartbeat. Harley Quinn moved through the chaos like it was her own personal playground, fingers flying over the security terminal with manic glee. And, boom, she crowed as another set of locks disengaged. Told ye I'd get us in. Green Arrow didn't share her enthusiasm. His grip on the bow was white-knuckled, his gaze darting between her and the hallway where shadows shifted, too fast, too deliberate. Something was wrong. You triggered the silent alarm, he said flatly. She waved a hand. Shush, like that matters now. We're in, ain't we? We're exposed. She rolled her eyes but froze when the lights flickered. Then, a voice, smooth as poisoned honey, slithered from the speakers. Miss Quinn. How? Unexpected. Luthor. Harley's smirk faltered. Uh-oh. Green Arrow was already moving, yanking her behind a server bank as gunfire erupted. Bullets chewed through the air where she'd just been standing. You said he wasn't here, he snarled. I said he usually ain't, she shot back, but there was a flicker of something like guilt in her eyes. The truth hit him like a punch to the gut. You let us here. She didn't deny it, just flashed a grin that didn't reach her eyes. Maybe. For a heartbeat, he stared at her, betrayal and fury warring in his chest. Then the world exploded. A grenade rolled to their feet. He grabbed her, diving through a window just as fire swallowed the room behind them. Glass rained down as they hit the next rooftop, tumbling over each other in a tangle of limbs and curses. She was laughing, laughing. He pinned her, his forearm against her throat. Why? Her breath hitched, but her grin was wild, reckless. "'Cause it's fun, Greenie. 'Cause you're all rules and arrows, and I—" Her voice dropped. "I ain't built like that." The fight left him all at once, because she was right. He let her go. Somewhere below, Luther's men were closing in. The mission was blown. But all he could think about was the way her pulse had raced under his hand, not from fear, from excitement. She sat up, rubbing her throat, still smiling. "So, we still on for that kiss?" He didn't answer, just turned and fired an arrow into the dark. The chase wasn't over yet. Smoke curled from the wreckage behind them as they fled across the rooftops, the night air thick with the scent of burning metal and rain. Harley's laughter had faded into something quieter now, breathless, almost uncertain. She kept glancing back at Green Arrow, her usual smirk replaced by a look he couldn't quite read. "You're really mad, huh?" she called over the wind. He didn't answer, just kept running, his jaw set, his movements sharp with barely leashed fury. She huffed, speeding up to match his stride. "Oh, come on, it ain't like I meant for Luthor toe." He whirled on her so fast she nearly stumbled. "You lied." The words were a blade between them. Her hands flew up. "Okay, yeah, but it wasn't personal. Just business." "Business." His voice was ice. She flinched, just a little. Then her eyes narrowed. "Oh, don't act all high and mighty. You were using me too, hero." The truth of it hung in the air, ugly and undeniable. A beat of silence. Then gunfire. They ducked as bullets bit into the brick beside them. Luther's men had found them again. Green Arrow grabbed her wrist, yanking her behind a chimney. "We settled this after." She opened her mouth, probably to argue, but then a new sound cut through the chaos. A low, mechanical whine, growing louder. They both looked up. A drone, sleek and lethal, hovered above them, its red eye locking onto their position. "Aw, biscuits," Harley muttered. The drone fired. Green Arrow shoved her out of the way as the blast took out the chimney, sending debris flying. He hit the ground hard, his bow skidding out of reach. Harley scrambled to her feet, her eyes wide for the first time that night. "Hey, you okay, Green?" The drone turned toward her. She froze. Then a shadow dropped from above, landing between her and death in a swirl of black. "Batman." Harley's breath caught. "Oh, hi, Bats." Batman didn't acknowledge her, just hurled a batarang at the drone, slicing it clean in half. It sparked, then plummeted into the alley below. Green Arrow staggered up, clutching his side. "You." Batman's gaze flicked between them. "You're working together." Harley grinned. "Kinda." Green Arrow's glare could have melted steel. Not anymore. Batman studied them for a long moment. Then Luthor's evacuating the data. "We have 5 minutes." The choice was clear. Fight each other or fight Luthor. Harley looked at Green Arrow, her smile fading. "So." He exhaled sharp, then grabbed his bow. "Move." She lit up like the sun. "That's my guy." He didn't correct her. The three of them took off into the night, an uneasy alliance, a storm of clashing loyalties. But for now, the mission came first. Even if it killed them. The underground server room hummed like a living thing, rows of machines pulsing with stolen data. Luther's men were scrambling, shouting into radios, packing drives into armored cases. They hadn't seen them yet. Batman melted into the shadows, already moving. Green Arrow knocked an arrow, his fingers steady despite the blood soaking his side. "Harley." She just cracked her knuckles and grinned. "All right, boys, let's crash this party." Then all hell broke loose. Batman took out 3 guards before they even turned around. Green Arrow's arrows found their marks with deadly precision. Non-lethal, but brutal. Harley? She was a hurricane of chaos, flipping over consoles, disarming men twice her size with a cackle and a well-placed kick. For a moment, it worked. Then Luthor's voice boomed from the speakers. "Enough." The room shook. A blast door slammed down, cutting Batman off from the rest. The remaining guards fell back, forming a wall of guns between them and the servers. Harley skidded to a stop beside Green Arrow, breathing hard. Okay, new plan. He didn't get a chance to answer. A figure stepped from the shadows, tall, armored, face hidden behind a sleek helmet. D-stroke. Harley went very still. Oh! D-stroke's sword gleamed under the fluorescent lights. You shouldn't have come back, Quinn. Green Arrow shifted, putting himself between her and the blade. Run. She grabbed his arm. Not without you, dumbass. D-stroke lunged. Steel met bow in a shower of sparks as Green Arrow barely blocked the strike. The force of it sent him stumbling back, his injury flaring white-hot. Harley didn't hesitate. She leaped, wrapping herself around D-stroke's arm like a feral cat, biting down hard on his wrist. He snarled, throwing her off. She hit the ground rolling, but her grin was gone. This wasn't a game anymore. Green Arrow fired. The arrow struck D-stroke's helmet. A distraction. Harley used it, sweeping his legs out from under him. For a second, it worked. Then he moved, faster than should have been possible, his fist connecting with her jaw. She went down hard. Something inside Green Arrow snapped. He attacked like a man possessed, arrows flying, fists swinging. It wasn't enough. D-stroke was better. A slash of the sword, and Green Arrow's bow shattered. A kick to the chest, and he was on his knees. D-stroke raised his blade. A batarang embedded itself in his shoulder. Batman was back. The fight wasn't over, but Harley wasn't moving. Green Arrow crawled to her side, his hands shaking as he turned her over. Her face was bruised, her breath shallow. Her eyes fluttered open. Hey, Greenie. He couldn't speak. She reached up, her fingers brushing his cheek. Oh yeah, that kiss, huh? The world narrowed to her smile, the blood on her lips, the way her hand felt against his skin. Then the roar of an explosion tore through the room. Luthor's failsafe. The building was coming down. Batman grabbed them both. Move. They ran, not toward the exit, but deeper into the crumbling facility. Because the mission wasn't over, and neither were they. The world was fire and screaming metal. The facility groaned around them, ceilings collapsing in great chunks of concrete and steel. Smoke clawed at Green Arrow's lungs as he hauled Harley through the crumbling corridors, Batman clearing the path ahead with grim efficiency. Her weight against him was too light, too still. Her usual wildfire energy had dimmed to a flicker, her breath coming in ragged hitches. But her fingers clung to the sleeve like she was afraid he'd vanish as she let go. Almost there, Batman growled, kicking open a service door. Cool night air rushed in freedom, just beyond the wreckage. But then the floor lurched and Green Arrow barely yanked Harley back as the hallway behind them folded in on itself, swallowed by flames. She coughed, her voice a hoarse whisper. Shoulda just kissed me when you had the chance, Greenie. He didn't laugh, just tightened his grip. Still can. Her eyes widened. Then, a shadow moved in the smoke. D-stroke emerged like a specter, his armor scorched, one arm hanging limp, but his sword was still steady. Batman stepped forward. Go. Green Arrow hesitated. Harley shoved him. Move your ass, hero. The last thing he saw before the ceiling caved in between them was Batman and D-stroke clashing, two titans in the heart of the inferno. Then they were running again, stumbling into the open just as the building imploded behind them. The shockwave sent them sprawling, heat searing their backs. Silence. Green Arrow rolled over, his vision swimming. Harley lay beside him, her face streaked with soot and blood, staring at the sky like it held all the answers. He reached for her. She caught his hand. We alive, she mumbled. Barely. She turned her head, her grin a ghost of its usual mischief. So, about that kiss. He should have said no. Should have remembered she was chaos, she was danger, she betrayed him. But the world was ending around them, and all he could think was how warm her fingers felt tangled with his. He leaned in. Their lips met, salt and smoke and something electric, something that made his chest ache. It wasn't sweet. It was desperate, a spark in the dark, a promise, and a goodbye all at once. When they broke apart, her smile was real. Worth it. Sirens wailed in the distance. Batman was gone. Luthor's data was ashes. But for this one, fleeting moment, they were alive. And maybe that was enough. Dawn boiled across the sky in streaks of gold and violet, painting the wreckage in soft light. The fire was out now, reduced to smoldering husks of steel and ash. Harley sat on the hood of an abandoned car, swinging her legs like none of it mattered, like the world hadn't almost ended hours ago. Green Arrow stood a few feet away, arms crossed, watching the first responders swarm what was left of the facility. He should have left, should have vanished into the shadows like Batman had. No goodbyes, no loose ends. But his feet wouldn't move. "Ya gonna stare all day, or ya gonna say something?" Harley called, popping a stolen gummy bear into her mouth. He exhaled through his nose. "What's left to say? How about thanks for not dying, Harley? Or gee, that kiss was swell." She wiggled her eyebrows. Or, "You sold me out." The words came out quiet, but they hung between them like a blade. Her grin faltered. Then she shrugged, too casual. "Yeah, I did." He waited. She kicked at a piece of rubble. "Didn't think y'd actually trust me. That's on you. Green bean." A beat. Then he laughed. Short, rough, but real. She blinked. "Huh, didn't know ya could do that." "You're impossible," he muttered, but there was no heat left in it. She hopped off the car, closing the distance between them in a few bouncy steps. "Impossible's fun, though. Admit it. Ya had more fun with me than with any of those boring hero types." He didn't deny it. She tilted her head, studying him. "So what now? Back to brooding on rooftops, saving kittens from trees?" "Something like that." "Boring." She poked his chest. "Come on, Greenie. One more adventure?" He caught her wrist. Not hard, just enough to stop her. "No." Her smile faded. For a second, she looked almost hurt. Then she yanked her hand back, plastering on a grin. "Fine, you're lost." She turned to go. "Harley." She paused. "Stay out of trouble." She glanced over her shoulder, her eyes bright with something unreadable. No promises. Then she was gone, vanishing into the maze of alleyways like she'd never been there at all. The city woke around him, oblivious to the night's near end. He should have felt relieved. Should have been glad it was over. But all he felt was the ghost of her fingers in his, the taste of smoke still on his lips. Somewhere in the distance, a laugh echoed, wild, untamed, free. He didn't look back, but he smiled.